going to finally meet Lucy Frost.
I can't wait.
There's Lucy. You see her on here?
No.
Oh, Lucy's waving. Unmute yourself, Lucy. You're muted. Hi, Chris. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Jeannie.
How are you, Chris? I met you at the
Hi
little
there.
our 5th anniversary party.
That's right.
I'm so happy you're coming. And Christina lives out in Dripping Springs, and she came in there right at the end. I'm so happy. I'm going to meet you. And I heard you were at the Sunday Salon, and everybody loved you. Everybody loved you. You are loved. You are loved. And we have Lori Beveridge is on the line, and I'm going to introduce you to Ellen, who's very, very, very important. She can wave once everybody comes on. She is the mastermind behind all of Paris. Everything we're doing in Paris it's come from her brain. So, and you will come to. Well, I was going to say, has anybody met her before? No, you have not traveled with Ellen before. Ellen's been on 2 of our trips, and she understands. Hey, Rosie. You know what's interesting? Everybody on this trip except Ellen and Bridget Morin are from Texas.
Well, my
Okay.
mother is Texan, so I get a pass.
Oh, you get a text. And I guess, am I Texan? Yeah, I guess I'm Texan still, right? Am I still Texan? Do I still
Yeah.
count?
Uh-huh.
Rosie, you're muted. Rosie, I can't hear you. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, there she is.
No, if you have boots and that jacket you wear, you're still Texan.
Oh, Rosie, it's so good to see you. Rosie's going to be coming up from Spain, right? And are you going to go back to Spain afterwards?
I will.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm already
gosh.
doing that. Yeah.
Bucky.
I know. We're going to be
Thanks.
like, we're going to be stowing away, tagging along with you.
Sure.
We want to hear all about
Spain
your
envy.
Spain, Spain envy. But you have your family ties there.
Yeah, my dad's from there, and so there's still family and cousins and an aunt and an uncle. So there's still some connection.
Yay. And I think that's Michelle Martel on the phone, because she told me she's going to be driving. So yeah, don't turn on your video, Michelle, and have a wreck. So let's see who else we're waiting for. Flora, I don't know if Flora's coming, and Bridget, we're waiting for Flora, Bridget, and hold on. Who else are we waiting for? Let me see on my list. Patty, Ivy, and I always just forget how many people are, because you guys are just, there's so many trips, and I've met some of you, and I'm on other trips, and I'm like, I forget everybody. I forget who's specifically on which trip. But let me just look who we're waiting for, and then we'll get started as soon as I kind of have a feeling of France. Flora, I know for sure. Michelle, Patty Ivy, Liz Buckley. Oh, she didn't know if she could make it. So do I have anybody else? So why don't we just get started, and I don't want to waste time. And when people come in, we will catch them up. But now I've got to find you because you're hidden. All right. So I think everybody knows me because I'm the big loud mouth who talks all the time and talks about my life and my love life, and you guys are just like about to vomit, so telling me to shut up already. So, but Ellen Williams, Ellen is, as I was telling to a few of you, I remember the time I said, "Do you know Paris?" Remember we were in San Miguel, and you went, "Back of my hand." And so when we were planning this trip, I was like, Ellen. And she has been so many times. She's written guidebooks. She was just there earlier this month and did some background research, just double checking some stuff. And I swear to God, she's got it, guys. I was to dinner with somebody last night who knows Ellen and who has a friend who's lived in Paris for, I don't know, like 20 years or more. And she said, Ellen knows Paris better than Rona, who's lived there for that many years, because Ellen's made it her job, her passion, right, Ellen, to find out all the secret things, all the ways around Paris, all
My
the
avocation, like,
avocation.
like a nun.
So, Ellen, why don't you talk just a little bit about your background and, but just because you're a journalist, also writer, and then we'll go around. And what I thought we'd do is everyone would tell us why they signed up for the trip and what you hope to get out of it. So we can make sure we know where everybody is on this. But so Ellen, just give us a little background. I've already spilled some of the beans, but.
Okay. Yeah, primarily what we want is to help you get out of this trip what you'd like to do. And so I'll tell you about me. I started out in art history, segued into magazines. I worked at Vogue magazine for a number of years. Then after that, I worked for Rizzoli for an art magazine. And then I decided I'm going to focus on books. I'm going to write books about Paris, and that will underwrite my Paris habit. I was like a junkie who needed to get there and needed an excuse to get there. So I started writing. And when you start writing, you start doing tons and tons of research. And what I found was that from my very first trip to Paris, when I was 26 years old, I knew I loved it, excuse me, and I knew that what I was seeing there was not the real Paris. I knew that Paris is not monuments. It's just not. There's something there that's wonderful and nuanced and big and fabulous and all those things, but it's not monuments. And I thought I want to figure it out. I want to crack this code, and so that's basically what I set upon for the next 40 years to do, was to figure out everything that I could about it that would make going there more fun and more enriching and stay with me. That's one of the things that I like the best about having a vast Paris experience, is that I can sort of conjure it up for myself no matter where I am if I haven't been there for a number of years, as of course happened during the pandemic. Anyhow, so we can, when we're there, we can talk about history, we can talk about culture, we can also choose to just have fun, or we can, sprinkle in a little bit of those more high-minded pursuits. And but what I'd like to do primarily is take you all to wonderful pockets of the city where tourists don't usually go. Passy, which is a beautiful, very aristocratic section of the 16th on the right bank. There's a wonderful shopping street there, not a market street, not where they're selling fruits and vegetables and whatnot, but what they call Rue Commerçant, where there are businesses, and you really get a flavor for the city that way. We're gonna go to a couple of museums, I think a couple of fashion museums, and we're going to go see an exhibition at the Musée Luxembourg of pioneering women painters in the avant-garde movements of the 20th century. But mostly we're going to be out and about. We're going to be going to neighborhoods, we're going to be shopping, we're going to be going to parks, to whatnot like that. So, but again, I'd like to hear what all of you really want to see and do. And I mean, we're only there for 4 days, so we're going to do our best to sort of pack in as much as possible without it being, like a long march, So that's there's that.
Okay, so I'm going to just go by who I see on my thing. Lori, you're first up.
Everything that Ellen said is really, she couldn't have said it better. I've been to Paris several times. Once broke. Another time it was an incredibly romantic moment. But we'll save that for the trip. Still broke on that trip. That was my college years. And then I went with my family, and I'm pretty sure that that's where the forms of torture were invented with my family. It was Jeannie's heard that I call it the worst vacation ever because I love Paris so much. And
Was that when we saw each other in Paris a couple years ago?
Yeah. yes, and that was, we had the perfect apartment in Saint Germain, but my husband was like, we have to move to a fancy hotel. And I was like, that's not going to be the feel that I want. But, and we did, I mean, we got through it and there were some moments, but I wanted it to be something with my kids that it really wasn't. But I have a really wicked sense of humor. And so I tell you that not a complaint, but so that, you know, you can go, oh my God, that's probably super funny on some level to her and to us, because everybody's had a vacation that couldn't possibly go more wrong. And that would be,
Yours
Well,
just
you'll have
happened
a
to
good
be
time.
Paris.
yes.
Yeah.
But it was okay. I still had great moments, but it was just, it's still magical. Even when things weren't going perfect with the family, it's undeniably a magical city. And why is that? I don't understand how it gets under your skin like it does, but it does.
Yep.
So
Well, I think that what you're looking for is to compensate for that terrible vacation, right?
yeah, the good news is most vacations make a great story or a great time, and that one kind of fell into great story. And it was just funny. It was great. It was still great. And like I said, I still had a good time.
Well, you're gonna have a good time this time, we promise.
Well, I think we're all aligned in what we like to do, you know?
And yeah, and I put that from the beginning, that we are, and I think everyone knows this, that we are assuming that either you've been to Paris before or that you're gonna see some of the, on your own, see the big major things. So, right, everybody knows that. We're not gonna get people upset that we're not going to the Louvre, right? So
No.
we're gonna dig a little deeper. We're gonna go just try to experience it in a different way, which I think is, you know, I imagine that's what a lot of you feel, I hope. So Chris, tell us about why you signed up and what you're expecting or hoping for.
Well, I have not been to Paris,
Okay.
so I am going early and to see a few things that are not on our agenda, but I want that magical feel that Lori was talking about, because that's how I've always pictured it. Just, you know, do nothing and just walk down the streets and you have that feeling that's just intoxicating is how I see it. So I think I'm getting the best of both worlds. Liz and I are both going up early, and we already bought tickets to Versailles because that was like high on my list.
I'm so glad that worked out.
Yeah, and then other than that, just see a few sites until we join together, and then I want to have the benefit of other people's earlier experience there.
And okay, I just should also say, you know, we're talking mostly about Paris right now because Ellen's here, but we also, of course, have the time in Normandy. So you can discuss that, or you can ask questions about that as well. So Rosie, you're coming up from Spain, and I have a feeling you've been to Paris before.
Yeah, the last time I was 17, I had an aunt who lived there. And so my brother and I went from Spain up to Paris to spend a couple of weeks with my aunt. And yeah, she took us to, you know, the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre and, you know, places like that. It has been a while, but as I was reading the itinerary, I really loved the little pockets that we're going to be going into. The trip to a Normandy, you know,
Yeah.
going to Omaha Beach, that has always kind of been something that it's one of those, oh, you know, it would be a neat place to go, but you'd never really make plans for it. So when this kind of came up, I thought, wow, it's just perfect. So, you know, being in the chateau and experiencing all of that, the train ride, I just think it's going to be an amazing trip all around.
Me too.
Yay. Thanks. And Michelle Martel, you are on the phone. Can you tell us, can you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that I agree with everybody. I love the pockets. I love the magic, but I'm just going to say I've watched both seasons of The Agency on Netflix about the Parisian real estate family, and I would like to meet one of the young men. So
Which
that's my
one?
fantasy. If you could just make that happen, that would be good.
Ellen, you got that? You taking notes? All that?
They're so cute.
But you know what? I've actually been watching that show, and it feels very much like what you're talking about, right? Where you're in this little pocket and this little piece, and this quirky thing happens, and I think we're all, sort of looking for that piece, right? Where it feels like daily life, and you can sort of imagine yourself
Yes.
in it. And so I'm down for anything and all of the things. Maybe a stop at a makeup store where we get to buy all the European products that you can't get in the United States would be
Got
fun.
that
Ellen,
covered.
I think Ellen, yeah, she's got that covered.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, I'm good. Everything you're saying is music.
Okay, good. How about Christina?
Well, along with everything y'all have said, Julie Anderson told me about this trip when I was over at her house, and all she had to say was, "Next Tribe has a trip, and there's one spot left, and they're going to France." And I said, "Okay, I'll go." And said, "I haven't really told you anything about it." And I said, "I know, I'll go." And she said, "Well, let me text and see if it's still available." And she texted, I don't know, Jeannie, you or somebody,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
And you said, "Well, she just has to let me know by the end of the week." And I said, "I'll let her know by the end of the day." And
I
came
like
home,
that.
checked my calendar, and I said, "Okay, I'll go." And she said, "Christy, you don't know anything about it." And I said, "Yeah, it's okay. I'm going." So basically, I've had some major changes in my life over the past, I don't know, little while. And I'm up for seeing new people, places, and things. And I'm just going out there, being bold,
Good. Yeah, I like that. Good. Well, Christina,
being brave. Yeah.
I'm glad you don't have too many expectations, because then we won't have a problem
Nope.
living up to them.
I have no expectations at all. I never do. So no.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucy Frost, she's been on, this is what, your fourth trip with us, Lucy?
It is. It is.
Lucy Frost. I love Lucy.
I love Jeannie. I'm excited about this trip. I haven't been back to France since college, but I was there for a year then. And so I'm super excited to go. I'm decidedly lowbrow and not highbrow. And I've been watching Call My Agent and Emily in Paris.
Oh my
And then I've been doing Duolingo. So I just want to wander around, speak French, and enjoy all of your company.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I'm gonna, if you're speaking French, I'm gonna stand behind you then.
Yeah, me too.
I can, well, I was gonna say,
I
I can,
only have a few words.
Yeah.
I used to speak.
that's funny, because I was gonna say, I could speak Spanish, but I can't speak French, but Lucy Frost knows that's not really true. I can't really speak Spanish. Inside joke. Anyway, so okay, so I'm so glad that it seems like, our trips seem to attract people just like what you're describing, where you're kind of open. I love the word game as an adjective. She's game, because that's what I like. And I like that it sounds like you all are like, we're ready to experience this and embrace this. And I can promise you, with Ellen, you're in good hands. And up in Normandy, we are in good hands. Leslie Garcia, with Lucy, Leslie. We will be you've read about it, the Schlumberger ancestral home, I guess, the ancestral chateau. And she has made recommendations for what we're doing up there. And then we have a bus and a guide for most of those days. And we'll spend one day, we're doing a couple of D-Day oriented things, but it's not overwhelmingly D-Day. But when, like who said that? Rosie, you said, I mean, when you're up there, you can't ignore it. It is,
Right.
and Ellen, you were the one who said, and Normandy's the place for sure that everyone loves Americans. Is that what you said, Ellen?
They love
That's a
Americans
plus.
up there.
Yeah, they love Americans. So I guess we'll just see what your questions are and make sure that, we're like 5 or 6 weeks out. I can't do my math.
Not far,
It's not
No.
far. No?
Everybody
like
have their
43 days or something.
Yeah.
everybody have their passports like
Yes,
All
make sure your passports, they should they should be more than 6 months from expiring. I didn't make a big deal of that, but just please check your expiration date on your passports because you're right, Ellen. They want you to have your passport not expire.
I can check.
No,
but
it happened. No, I
okay.
know that for sure because
Okay.
I went over to France and my world traveling husband, like the world traveler of all world travelers, his passport was expiring within like 2 months of our return, and they wouldn't let us get on the plane. So I know it was like, whoops. So let's double check that. Yes, Lucy.
I know at some point they were requiring vaccination passes or health card passes to go into restaurants
No
and stuff. No more. Okay, thanks.
And they didn't require that anyway. It's our CDC card was fine with them.
Oh,
Oh, good.
okay, great.
will we add even? I don't know. I mean, I have it, of course, but
Just
Yeah,
bring it in case. I was just there and I don't think anybody asked to see it. I was there in October and had to show it a lot.
And
Okay.
what I'm going to do, sometime probably next week is give you a place to upload your vaccine card. Because I owe it to everybody else on this trip to know that you're vaccinated and is everyone vaccinated and boosted?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just think that's the minimum because we just want to, obviously, with what's going on, that you still might get something. We can't. It's so hard to predict, but we can do the best we can, right?
Right.
So any other question? And
I wanted to just bring up about credit cards because there are some credit cards that will charge you a percentage fee if you're buying things in other currencies and some that will not. So check with your bank of which yours is, because otherwise you might want to mostly, just switch into cash. Of course, there's a fee to get cash too. But so 2 things. One is you can get you can get euros from an ATM in Paris. You will pay to use an ATM outside of your network, and you will pay a conversion fee, but still you can get your hands on euros, on any corner. And the credit card, you'd like it ideally to not have a conversion fee, so that anything that you purchase, you're just paying that fee and no more.
Is there
Okay.
a preferred credit card over there? Like American Express or MasterCard or Visa? Is there a preferred credit card to use?
In my experience, American Express is a little less, but I'm not even certain about that anymore.
Okay.
I have a MasterCard that doesn't charge you, and I have it on my phone, and I used that all the time there. And let's talk about the phones. So what we're gonna need so that we can all stick together and nobody be left behind, is we're gonna need everybody to have data roaming, which again, it's $10 a day. It's no big deal. It's just you're using your phone just like you do at home. And what we'll do is make sure that everybody has Jeannie's cell phone number and my cell phone number, rather than, let's say, texting the whole group to say, I'm in the shop for another 10 minutes, wait for me or something.
But we will, on all my trips, I do a group text, and somebody suggested after our last trip that we set that up. I will set up before we even go, because I was setting it up while we were in Charleston.
So my boyfriend just handed me a slip of paper that says French vendors don't like Amex. So
Oh, okay.
um,
That's good to know.
yeah.
so there will be times where we will text everybody, but as Ellen said, when you might just want to tell Ellen and me, text Ellen and me separately, that if you have a change of where you are, or it's a message. And the reason it's important to be on the text is this is not a tour like you think of with the leader with the umbrella and stuff. This is not lockstep. We are not lemmings. We're not Ottomans. You are grown women, and you might have your, if you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. But we have to make sure we have ways to communicate with you and make sure we can meet up later. So that's why it's important. If do you see what I'm saying? I want to give you guys the flexibility of picking and choosing some things, or maybe there's a friend in Paris and you're going to eat lunch with them. We can talk and you can find your way to where we are, the next step. So
here's another thing too, is that this is your best friend, because you don't even need maps anymore in Paris. If you want to go maybe you do for other purposes, but if you want to go anywhere, you put the address in and this thing tells you how to get there.
right.
So
Is there a particular app for that, or you
no,
you
that's
just use
your
your map? Your
Just your
map
map.
app. Okay.
Just
And
an Apple Map or Google Maps, I guess, either one.
yeah,
Okay.
so, and it'll tell you even, I'm doubting that too many of you are going to want to go off on your own on public transportation, but I'm picturing a lot of the places that we're going to be going to are these wonderful kind of main streets of these neighborhoods, these various very beautiful picturesque neighborhoods. And let's say somebody stumbles on the shop of their dreams and wants to go in for half an hour, but doesn't want 13 people waiting out in the street for them. Then we can just say, okay, meet us in half an hour and we'll pick an address, farther down that road, or a cafe. So we're trying sort of our hardest to make it sort of planned spontaneity, if you know what I mean. And let's hope the weather gods are with us, because things will get exponentially more difficult if it's raining and stuff like that. But we'll do our best to have fallbacks for every contingency of the weather and whatnot. So
Which leads us to probably, I know people have said they want to talk about and you were, you had a good comment on that, Ellen, like what you can get by with and be elegant no matter what.
I don't think any of us want to be tromping around in high heels or anything like that. I think we want comfortable walking shoes. 20 years ago, you did not want to be caught dead in a pair of sneakers in that city, but now everybody wears sneakers. Now that baby boomers are the old people, people are much more comfortably dressed. That said, if you want to wear, black walking shoes or something instead of sneakers, you might feel a little bit more polished. Black slacks, dark jeans. Again, it doesn't matter. All we need to be is happy and comfortable ourselves. But, they do tend to be more, polished maybe than Americans do when they go about their day. But again, nobody's going to be looking at us but us, so I say, be comfortable and feel good about yourself. And
Yes, and comfortable shoes, I cannot emphasize that enough. Remember those who've been to San Miguel with us, there will be walking. We'll also take subways and metros, whatever, but just comfortable shoes are going to make you happy. Several of our dinners are near the hotel, right, Ellen?
almost everything is near the hotel, and that which
for dinner, yeah,
is a little bit farther. There's always a bus or a metro option, and if a whole bunch of people want to walk back and a couple of people want to take the bus, I will accompany them on the bus or the metro. We don't need to worry about anything like that. And there's always Ubers too. and
Yes.
and cabs. So
Yes. But, and Michelle Martell just wrote a question. What, what about, did you say weather related clothing temperatures? So I just looked up the temperatures. The average temperature, a high when we're there is like in the upper 60s and lows are in the 50s. But
Is that cool?
I've been there in June twice where I was really cold, I have to say. I don't know why.
and there are heat waves in June too.
Yeah,
So layers, I think
Yeah.
layers is the way to go.
Right.
And let's be honest, we're going to be doing a little shopping there too. So, if anybody needs to buy a sweater or
yeah. So leave room in your bag, because we definitely, one of the treats that Ellen is going to arm us with is a resale guide to, the secondhand clothing shops in Paris, right?
yeah, the designer resale shops. Sadly, the biggest of them, which was about 5 shops on one block, and that's where I had us going originally. Sadly, it did not survive the pandemic after 30 or 40 years in business. But there are lots of them around. I was at one earlier this month, which is the size of a walk-in closet. So it can't be one that we can all go to as a group. It would just be insanity. But I'll make a digital map of all of them and be able to, share that with any of you digitally. Likewise with the chocolate shops and where we're staying in Saint-Germain is the cocoa capital of the universe. So if you want to try fabulous chocolates, if you have somebody you want to bring fabulous chocolates home to, I'm going to make up a digital map of all the chocolate shops and the pastry shops right in our area. Also, I've got right around the corner from our hotel is a Monoprix, which to go by you would think, oh, it's a supermarket, but oh, it's so much more. And we'll have lists of, great, unbreakable, inexpensive, souvenirs that you can get there for people, great French nail polish and, wonderful mustards to bring home, coffees. Does anybody have Nespresso maker in their home? I just brought back probably 50 or 60 Nespresso pods of different makes, some of them biodegradable, which we don't have here. Excuse me, I've got allergies. Anyhow. The resale shops, that's what that was.
Yep. Any other questions? Let's talk about some other, I'm trying to think of, anticipate some of your questions. We are looking, I don't know if Ellen, you did, I think I was supposed to look at the COVID tests at the airport, right?
I'm thinking that probably just because it will be a source of stress for us, that we should probably find a place that last day in Normandy to get the test done.
Okay.
I think it might be cutting it too close to get it done near the airport. But obviously,
Can we bring a kit in our suitcase and just test right before we go?
I don't think you can upload those results. I'm happy to be proven wrong about that. But what I just did 2 weeks ago is you go into a pharmacy, you have an app, you put in your information, they test you, and then they send you the results over the app, and then you can upload that, or you can always show it at check-in at the airport coming back. We don't need it to get into France. At least we don't as of now. But you do need it to get back into the United States.
That's funny.
And they will not let you on the plane without it.
Yeah, they won't. Flora at Marvin's coming in, so let's come on, Flora. Flora.
Did they use
is
that
there a-
Verifly app?
Sorry?
Did they use that Verifly app or the iFly app?
I think it depends on your airline.
Okay.
That's more. I think I know what you're talking about, because I've had to do. We were in San Miguel last year in Mexico and Troncones, and people had to test coming back. And
Yes.
I think some people had it through their United, or I believe.
What this was, when I did it a couple of weeks ago, was there was something you scanned in the pharmacy, and that
Yeah.
brought up the app, and you put in just your information and whatnot. And then, they scanned the barcode of your test, and I think the results came. It was definitely later that day. It has to be a day before.
Within
So-
24 hours.
Exactly.
And that's why when I'm thinking of, usually I don't think it's I mean, in Mexico, it wasn't a absolute 24 hours. It wasn't like a clock. It was like by the end of the following day. So if we are needing to get one, have somebody come to the chateau on the morning, up in Normandy, before, what we're going to do is take a bus. We're going to be up in Normandy at the chateau, and I want to stay for lunch because it's supposed to be, we'll be out for most of the lunches that while we're there, we'll be out and about. So I wanted to stay for lunch for that, and then get a bus in the afternoon. But in that morning, which I have kind of free to, just lounge around on the grounds and go strolling in the gardens and all that, we could probably, I'm going to talk to Leslie Garcia about getting somebody to come for give us a test there. That would be so much easier than to go out and find one. But back up, most airport, around airports, they have places for tests, but we will confirm that before we get, obviously before too long. So we'll know what we need to do. And, if somebody were to test positive, I haven't had anybody test positive on any of these trips, but Ellen, do you know what happens? It just depends on
I think it depends. I mean, it's just an unfortunate reality of the situation we're all in, but
We use a guillotine on. Is that what happens to
Yes, we just off you. We off.
so we'll be like
That'll
the
get rid of
Operation
it.
Shun.
Yeah.
We'll
We shun.
shun.
That's
To the tower.
yes.
Is there a particular day in Paris where it'll be open and maybe you can do your own thing, or you just kind of pick a day and say, I want to meet with somebody?
I think the morning of the 14th of June, right? We're not leaving for Normandy till about 2:00. Is that right? I mean,
Yeah.
well, I know it, but I think we talked about that. We want to give you a day at the very end, not a day, it's not a whole day, but give you some time at the end so you can go back to that. I saw that really cute outfit. And blah, blah, blah.
The area that we're going to be in is just a shopper's paradise. And, I've laid out a lot of shops that I like to go to, mostly because I'm very petite. I don't buy clothes in Paris because they don't fit me, and I don't have a clothes life anyway. But
Okay. Wait, hands up. Okay, the French are tiny peoples, so I don't understand how. Like I'm a 5'9" girl. I had
Aw.
men's clothes in Paris. Like there was nothing there. It's tiny people.
Well, tiny like this, but not tiny like this. Anyhow, what I tend to shop for there is housewares. I just go crazy. I have a linen addiction, and that's mostly what I do. But we have some fabulous shopping right in the immediate neighborhood of our hotel, including, skincare products. Oh, and that reminds me. So I have a number of links to articles about, what are the best French skincare and cosmetics to buy when you're there. And I can send everybody those links, because when we go into, there are 2 places that I want to take you all to. You need to know what you're buying. I mean, there are women there who speak English and who will help, but you want to know what you want. You want to know that you had a recommendation for this, retinol cream, or this hair stuff or whatnot, because, you know, if you have a list, you just point, they'll take you around. And both of these places that we're going to will help you fill out the VAT form. And one of the places will actually do, I think, process the refund right there. Because if you buy more than, I think, 100 and something euros, which is not,
A lot.
it's not, you know,
Not a lot in Paris.
yeah, you can get back that whatever it is, 17, 18%, you know, they'll send you a check later. But anyhow, so there are two places that are just fantastic, but they are a little hectic. They're you know, it's not a place to sit in and, you know, be pondering like this. And then makeup, there's a couple of other places that I want to take you all to. And so,
And then we're also doing the flea market
yes,
on Sunday. So that, which is something I've always wanted to do. And I'm
but
so
we're
happy.
going to the more real flea market, not the big sprawling spread out, which is really more like the famous one is really more like a whole bunch of antique stores. And I don't know about any of you guys, but I don't think we're bringing back armoires or, you know, dining room chairs. We want collectibles, you know, vintage and, you know, that kind of stuff. So the one that we're going to is way more manageable. It's just more real. It's more fun in my mind. You don't have to go, you know, to get to the famous one, you have to go through this really nasty section of vendors, you know, selling, you know, knockoff sneakers and rugs, and it's not fun. So our
Good.
kids will be fun.
And we have Flora and Patty here. So Flora,
hi.
Flora, when we started, I introduced Ellen, who you know, of course you know
Yeah,
Ellen.
she met in San
Can,
Miguel.
can you hear me, Jeannie? Because I can't get a visual and the audio. I mean, or the visual.
I can hear you. So
Yay.
we just wanted to, and then I'm going to talk to Patty too. But Flora, we had started by asking people what, you know, why they signed up and what they were hoping to get from this trip. So, and Ellen's been explaining all the cool stuff that she has in mind. But so we should just hear from you as well, what you're jonesing for.
Oh my goodness. Well, I just love the travel experience. And I've never been to Normandy, so I'm particularly interested in seeing that area, the gardens, the architecture, and you know, I'm assuming we're going to visit some of the World War II sites.
Yes.
Right.
We have a
Omaha
day.
Beach.
And yes, and we're going to the Bayeux Tapestry, which I took my kids to, and I thought was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. But that's all in one day. We're doing
And
that.
there's a really interesting documentary about that on PBS, if you can
Yes.
pull it up,
about the
that I saw
yeah.
just recently.
Yeah.
But
So-
and you know, a little I can't ever pass on a little shopping.
I know.
You're gonna get more than a little.
Good. I'll bring an empty bag.
I'm
Empty
gonna-
bag.
That's exactly the way to go, Flora. I was gonna say that what I usually do is I put an empty bag in my suitcase, and then that bag becomes my carry-on when I come back, so I don't have to check two bags. And you know, that's what I put anything that I'm afraid of them breaking. This is usually my flea market purchases and whatnot. But that's the way to go, is to have a spare bag, unless you want to buy one there, which we can do too.
Yay. And Patty, can you, I'm going to ask you to unmute Patty.
Oh, there we go. Hi.
Hi, and
Hi.
do you have your video? I'd love to, I haven't
Oh,
met.
how do I do that?
That's right, should be down on the bottom second from
There
the
we go.
left. You
Here
see
we
it?
go. Enable. Allow Zoom. Okay, here I am. Can you see me?
We can't see you. I can't see
Okay, let
you.
me try it again.
You're the mystery woman. You're going to be the
I
mystery-
know y'all don't know me. Hold on. Oops.
That's okay. I mean, don't worry.
Well, no, I want to do it.
It should be under, it says stop. There's a video little icon.
Start video.
You s- Oh, no, that's Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Hi.
It says Lori's old phone. Sweetheart, Roby, come here. I'm gonna get my sweetheart in here to get me. So how do I get so they can see me?
Got to turn your camera on.
Oh,
I heard that
Start your
There's
video.
Flora. There's Flora. That's Flora.
hi, Flora,
Hi, Flora.
Patty,
Patty.
Patty.
Who's who's
You
saying
need to turn-
Patty? Is Patty?
you-
I'm right here.
Okay.
I can't
Well-
tell. You have to get your camera to work on there.
Jeannie, have you heard that the value of the dollar is like skyrocketed in the last 2 days?
That's good, right?
Not
Yay.
jinx it.
Huh? Don't jinx it.
Okay.
Just gotta hang on there. Hang on.
Roby, what is the?
Buying spree.
Hey, Jeannie, I kind of got the tail end of the COVID testing, but I just went on a trip to Cartagena and they had a nurse come to the villa and he just tested everyone at the same time. And then the next day he handed us our get out of jail pass.
And that's what
And-
we did in Troncones. They came and we were like, I don't think they were testing too hard, to be honest.
Well, and ditto on that. No one failed, which
Yeah.
was good because we all got to come home.
Lucy, weren't you the one who told us the joke about what was this thing about you could pay to get your COVID test? You were
Oh,
with-
yeah, that a friend had said that they went somewhere in Mexico and you could pay whatever it was, $25 to get your COVID test or $50 to get a negative COVID test. Yeah. And you couldn't switch after. So if you paid the $25 and fails, too bad. So
Oh,
everybody-
Smart. Very smart capitalism right there.
I know.
Of course they are.
You can pay $100 in some places to get out. Someone just told me they paid $100 to get out of Brazil, which sadly means you're traveling on the plane with people with COVID.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to continue wearing a mask. I still am not comfortable with the idea of being in a plane without a mask, but that's up to everybody.
So when are most people arriving? Let's get a sense of who's coming when.
Lucy, get there early on the 9th, and then I'm meeting a friend that day, and then I guess we connect on the 10th.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm staying at the same hotel that we are as a group.
Perfect.
Extra night.
Chris is getting there on Sunday, the 5th at our same hotel.
Wow. So you're is Liz coming the same time?
She's coming on the 6th.
Okay, so you guys are going to do some serious like regular, the stuff that you want to see, which I think is great. I think it's
Yes.
perfect. I'm so glad you're doing that. And I know Lori and I we're coming in together. We'll get there on the 7th, I believe. And Flora, when are you coming? Or do you-
I'm pulling it up right now, but I think I'm getting there. I'm leaving here on the 9th and arriving on the 10th, which is,
Okay.
isn't that the day we meet
Yeah.
meet up?
Yep, that's the date.
Okay, let's see if it'll come up.
Is everybody comfortable with how they're going to get in from Charles de Gaulle?
Yeah, I'd made arrangements with the hotel.
Okay, and you saw that, I sent that out,
Yeah.
that the
Yes.
hotel has a service, and then Ellen sent out another, the other option is the cab, so.
Yeah.
Or- And there's
I'm
there's
really
Uber
happy to-
too.
I like that. I'm happy with the hotel collecting me. I'm going to be tired and I like not to have to think about anything.
Yeah.
We were there with our whole family about 5 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and we found that Uber worked pretty well, but
Good.
just in case anybody wants to know.
I think it's a good idea to have Uber on, everybody to have Uber. I assume Lyft is there too, but maybe I shouldn't assume that. Do you know?
I don't know if they're there or not.
Okay, well, at least we know Uber's there. So I suggest that you have Uber on your apps, because if you decide to go off on your, you have an idea and you want to stay longer
Sure.
in a place, it's just a lot of comfort to know that you can just you know.
I will probably be the only person taking the train in because that's just how I do it. And there's no traffic and it's cheap and it's whatnot. So if anybody wants to know how to do that, I can tell you too. But I totally get getting there and being tired and just wanting to roll into a cab.
I
This
love
is
that.
train- This is train from the airport.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
it easy?
Okay.
It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
Okay, I might find out about that. But because you know, like here in New York, I like to take the train to JFK instead of
There's no traffic and there's no stress. I mean,
yeah, it's a it's a subway to JFK. So yeah.
I get in on the day before, so I get in on the 9th
Okay.
Yes.
around 1:30. And if the train is easy, I would love more information on that.
Okay.
And what I might do too is I'm going to follow this up with, an email, and I will give you information on where to upload your vaccine card, and then I will actually what I'm going to do is ask for some people have already sent, but I ask for your plane reservations. Not that we're going to be meeting the plane.
Okay.
Then actually that would be helpful just to have those plane reservations. And some will not need, some of you like Rosie, you're not going back to the States, so you won't even need a COVID test.
Probably not. I don't think so if it's in the EU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So it sounds like of all of us, Flora, you're the only one of this group who are arriving on that Friday morning because.
Well, and I'm trying to pull up the damn thing. I'm having technical difficulties. Apologies.
you can
and then-
tell.
I might also
Jeannie, I wanna
arrive that
talk to you
Friday,
about-
but I'm not sure.
So the day that we're returning to Charles de Gaulle, we're spending the night at the airport, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking about going to London from there.
yeah.
And just going straight to London because I want to see a friend in a play. If anybody wants to go to
Oh,
London and see the play on Sunday night.
Oh my gosh.
Flora, are you going to fly or are you going to do the Eurostar?
I'm thinking I might channel. Yeah.
Because I just did that. I just went from
Yeah.
London to Paris a few weeks ago. Couldn't
Yeah,
be
I'll
easier.
probably do that, but I've already made my return air. And so, I've got to dink with the airlines and see, how that'll work because I was flying Paris, London, Austin. And so I still have that leg. And so anyway, it's complicated.
Okay, so we'll have to talk about that because we have a bus coming right to the chateau to take us we're staying at the Hilton at the airport.
Right. Do you know what time we get in?
No, it will be, I did it kind of late so we could have lunch at the chateau and, but,
Is that on Sunday?
that is on Sunday.
Wait, I think it's Saturday, isn't it?
Oh, wait, hold
No,
on.
It's a Saturday.
Oh, it's a Saturday.
It's
Yeah, you're
Saturday.
right. I've got to look at my.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the 19th is Father's Day. It's Sunday.
Yeah, we will. Yes, we're staying on the 18th at the Hilton at Charles de Gaulle. So we're staying on the 18th, that's Saturday night. Then on the 19th, that means because there's going to be, flights going back to the States. A lot of them are in the morning. So maybe, I mean, it's just inconvenient for you, Flora, because then you're not near the train station. So let's
Well,
talk.
yeah. So then I might just fly because I already have a ticket. So
Okay.
I'll work that out. And I do arrive on the 10th and I get in at 1:25 p.m.
Okay, that's good.
So I'll just
And-
come straight to the hotel. Do we have something going on at that time?
What I've done for the 10th is we're going to have a kind of a loose walking sort of together and not on a fabulous street near the hotel where there are lots of great shops. And then I thought
Ooh, I don't want to
picked
miss that.
a rendezvous time. There's a beautiful little garden there, an artisanal ice cream shop. And I thought we could all meet and have an ice cream cone or a sorbet or something before we do whatever we're going to do after that. But that would also, for those of you who are arriving earlier, that morning of the 10th is basically going to be open too, as we wait for everybody else to arrive.
Okay,
And the
good.
Musée d'Orsay is quite near by, but having just said that, I will tell you that I went there on a rainy day earlier this month, and it was scary mobbed. And that was April, not June.
Where was
Right.
that?
The Musée d'Orsay, the
Oh.
Impressionism Museum. So just again, balancing whatever your COVID anxiety is. A museum is not fun when it's crazy crowded, and it's really not fun when you don't want to be in a crowd. So just saying.
Yeah, so
this-
I'm looking at my American Airlines ticket. It says that you have to have a negative PCR test within 72 hours for Paris.
Oh,
No less than before departure. Oh, or an antigen test less than
Wait a
48
second,
hours.
Laura, check the date on that, because I just went and nobody asked for any kind of test.
no,
Okay,
no,
well, all right. This is just what I just pulled up my ticket and it's saying this.
you need to fly out back to the US.
No, this is to enter France. It says health and travel restrictions for France.
They haven't changed the site yet.
Okay, but the
Ellen-
rules have
Ellen-
changed.
Ellen
Is
was
that what you're
just there.
saying?
Ellen
I
was
was
just
Okay.
just there and nobody, I mean, I had to show I came into France from London,
Yep.
and you just had to show your Vax card. That's all.
Okay, but I'm wondering if it's different from the US because EU has different rules for EU member,
Well, I was there in October, which was like the height of, going into the height of Omicron, and nobody asked.
Okay, well, great. Good to
Well,
know.
we can
But
look,
we'll
we can,
check.
yeah, I haven't seen that either.
Well, and you know what? It's still it's some time away. I mean, things could
Yeah.
change. So,
And yeah, and
that's just something everyone's going to have to be aware of.
yeah, we will keep you posted on that too, what we know and any major changes that we see. So, okay, I'm gonna follow this up with an email where I give you the site to upload your vaccine card, and I'll ask for your travel arrangements so we know when everyone's getting in and when everyone's leaving. And Flora, I would try to leave from the airport since we're
Yeah.
gonna-
Well, and I've got a flight at 8:55 a.m. from Paris to London
Good.
on BA. So I'm that's done. So I don't
Okay.
have to worry about that.
Okay, cool. And any other questions before we? do
You know,
think-
when I was going to school in Spain, they had us all download WhatsApp for communicating in
Oh,
Europe.
yeah, we did that in Cartagena too. It's really good.
Oh,
Aware of that, Ellen?
Well, yeah, we don't need that though if we're all gonna go with roaming. But
What's
I mean,
roaming?
WhatsApp only works if you've got Wi-Fi. It's not good for out on the street.
Okay.
As soon as you
Okay.
leave Wi-Fi, you're on your, you're on your roaming.
Okay.
And that's much better too for using the maps on your phone and for,
Okay,
So-
perfect.
I just think it's like having a security blanket to be able to use your phone for $10 a day. To me, it's a no.
Okay, I missed that part of the conversation. Do you just buy that from your carrier or do you buy that?
You
in
don't
pa-
even have to. I mean, I have AT&T. They just charge you if you use the
Okay,
phone.
perfect.
there.
Yeah, it's like $10 a day. It's not,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, check if you don't have AT&T. I have AT&T, but if you don't have
Yeah.
AT&T, make sure you check but I think they all have, they're competitive
Yeah,
on
just
that.
go on the website and they'll tell you.
Yeah.
T-Mobile is free.
All right.
Wow,
Look at
great.
that. That's good. That's good to know. Maybe we need
Yeah,
to
so I
switch.
guess if everybody, when you upload your Vax card for Jeannie, put in your cell phone number too, so that we have a master list of all of those.
And yes, and I'll write this down, but because then I'll make the text group now, because somebody said, make it before we go. And so
Yeah,
when
yeah,
make it before
yeah.
you go, I'm also going to make a Google photo sharing site before we go. So we'll be able to share photos. And so I'm going to be more on, instead of doing it on the fly when I'm there, we'll have it all set up. And I think that should be good. Anything else we want you to?
yes, this is Patty. I have a question.
Sure.
So I land on Friday morning at 8 a.m. Does
Okay.
anybody else land around that time?
Doesn't sound like it because sounds like Flora's getting in that day and she's coming in at 1:30. A lot of people are gonna
Yes,
be in
yeah.
a few days early.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound like it at this point, but we are
No.
still, there's a couple people who aren't on this call. I'm going to send them the link to the recording, and I'm also going to send them this follow-up email, and they'll upload their travel plans so we can see that if somebody's coming in close to you, Patty.
And do we know what time check-in is at the hotel on the 10th?
Yes, it's 2:00, but he said that, which is good because it could be a lot later. A lot of times they're 4:00 or something. He did say that if he does have a room that's clean, we'll get early. You can go in earlier. They're very, very helpful. Like Aziz is very helpful, and he said, let me see, check-in time is at 2 p.m. and checkout time is 12 noon. So that's helpful.
So
to
the
know.
majority of the people are going earlier. I'm kind of getting FOMO.
Oh,
Well, the good thing about COVID era is that you can change your reservation for free.
Right. Wow. Okay.
that's true. Woo, woo, woo.
Silver
So,
lining.
Yeah, silver linings. Well, I'm excited to spend time with you guys. I'm so excited about this trip. I feel so amazed that we have somebody like Ellen to bring us around. I mean,
Aw,
really,
We're gonna have fun, ladies. We are
Yes.
gonna have fun.
and she's so conscientious about making the plans, and she's thinking through everything. And so, it's
Yeah, I am, I've said to Jeannie, I am nervous about how we're gonna all just there are 14 of us, Jeannie,
13.
13, just
Yeah.
how,
That's a cafe. So do you split? Like, do you have two different cafes? Because you know what I'm saying?
No, you might have to,
well,
we might have to split tables. We might have to be 6 and
yeah,
7 or
the
something.
restaurant that I most wanted to take you all to said to me when I was there a couple of weeks ago, I tried to make a reservation. He said, we can't do it. He said,
Yeah.
we can't get that much food out at the same time. So you'd have half the people at your table starting to eat and the other half wouldn't. So we're gonna, because of that, we're limited by larger restaurants. And Jeannie and I have also talked a lot about lunch that, we just can't make it work if one person goes off to this cafe and 3 people go to that cafe. So we're going to try our best to, grab, something really tasty and quick. And again, we have to pray that the weather gods are with us, the weather goddesses, I suppose we should say.
Goddesses.
Um,
That reminds me. Oh, sorry, Lori, go ahead.
Split reservation, Ellen. In other words, here's the seating for 6 of us at 7 o'clock, and then the second group is at 8. Or you know what I'm saying? I understand all this stuff because
yeah.
I'm a absolute warhorse on this with our business stuff. So,
Well, we can certainly try that, or we can go to the larger places and all be together. I mean, I'm just, I would like us to stay together as much as possible, just because I don't want people getting lost or I mean, maybe that's just me being mother hennish, but
Yeah.
We'll make it work. I mean, I just think that, in other cities we've been to, like, I just think San Miguel, I know it's obviously much smaller, but, we can figure out if people want to go off on their own or if there's.
Yeah.
The other thing that I forgot to bring up, Ellen, we talked about this. So normally, and I put it in all my material, that we don't pay for alcohol, but Ellen brought up a good point that in France, it's kind of like, it might be a problem to say, oh, we need separate checks for alcohol.
oh God, no.
So I'm gonna put in my email to you, not that like whether I never drink during the day. I mean, absolutely never. So I drink plenty at night, but not. So what I might do is ask you guys for and just bear with me. It might be an if you're just an evening wine drinker, if you just drink wine and it's evening, then maybe we'll ask for $100 extra. I'm just making it up. But if you like your wine in the day, your drinks during the day, your cocktails during the day, I might ask for a little bit more. So we don't have to bother with that. Does anybody have a problem with that? So you won't,
Perfect.
it'll be seamless. You won't even know. But so I want to make it easy. I don't want to get those French waiters mad at us and spitting in our,
No, I don't think that's going to be our worry. I think we don't want the non-drinkers to be paying for the
Right.
drinkers. And probably most of the places where we're going to be going for lunch, we're going to be, grabbing a crepe or a baguette with cheese and ham and, stuff like that. Just easy peasy.
But at night, you did say that you thought that was a good idea, is to not bother the waiters about separate checks for.
Yeah, that's,
Um,
it's annoying in America. So it's annoying
Yeah.
double.
I mean, the other thing we could do too is maybe ask them to just add up all the wine and then have the wine drinkers split that or something, or I don't know. I think we might have to play some of it by ear, but.
Okay, well, in my email to you, I will ask your drinking level. How much of a son are you?
Like the doctor asks you, how many glasses of wine do you have a day, right?
And you're like, oh, no, just one.
Yes.
But we can
Okay, turn on.
also, I mean, let's also think about, there's a lounge at the hotel and we could probably have some bottles of wine there when we get home from dinner and,
Yeah.
sit and chat and relax and,
Yes,
plan the
it's-
next day and dish about the day that we've just had. And
I can't wait. I'm just so excited. So yeah, we'll work it out, but I'm just telling you, I don't want, we are, that as Helen said, it's twofold. One is we don't want the non-drinkers to pay for the drinkers, but then we also want to make it seamless so that it's
Yeah.
not, because I think, most of the places when I do these trips, I talk to them in advance and say, everybody will get their own individual alcohol bill. And there's some resistance. Most people are okay with it, but in
yeah.
Paris,
Well, I mean, the one thing, the French, they do consider wine as essential part of dinner, that's, they don't look at you funny if you say I'm not drinking, but, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
okay,
Famous last words.
we'll work on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You've
Nope.
done a
Hi.
great.
Thank y'all for organizing this.
Well,
Thank you.
Say that when we're on the train to Normandy.
I love train travel.
oh, good. It's
And
going to be.
our plan is that we're going to have a picnic on the train. And again,
Oh, nice.
that might not be the picnic of our dreams with us all sitting, in 7 or 8 different rows, but we'll do our best to make it delicious.
be-
at least.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And
Oh, a baguette and some cheese.
And wine.
Ellen has some cool ideas that actually I didn't tell her this, but I stole some of those from my
Oh, goody.
Charleston trip, where we just give little gifties away.
We're going to have every night, we're going to have a little, what do you call it? Somebody's going to win a little prize that'll have
Yeah.
some meaning with the day's
I
activity.
exactly. I did that in Charleston. So I asked questions there and people loved it. And I got it was
Good.
so much fun. So anyway, we got to find out who was listening to the,
What-
you know,
Wait,
the-
you didn't tell me there was going to be a test.
yeah, there's a test. There's a-
No. It'll be luck. It'll just be luck of the draw.
Anyway,
here's another thing too is this is not so essential for ahead of time, but so they've always had these little paper tickets for the metro and the buses in Paris, and they're kind of a pain in the neck because you have to kind of keep it on you if you want to transfer, or if if a controller stops. Now, in my 10,000 trips on the metro, I think I've been stopped by a controller once in all those times, but still, you need them to get into the machines. But now, because they're phasing out the paper for ecological reasons, they're making these little, they sort of look like loyalty cards, like your CVS loyalty card. And those you can load up with as many trips on it as you want. So I think what Jeannie and I are going to do is, when we get there early, is we're going to get one for everybody. Those of you who are getting there sooner, though, might want to get your own. It costs €2 for the card. You get it, there are vending machines in the metro stations, or there are ticket agents. And then you have them put on as many trips as you think you're going to use. The price goes way down, not way down, but it goes down if you get, say, 10 tickets. And then we don't have that worry too of 12 of us are about to get on a metro and one person doesn't have a ticket, and then we all have to stop and go, so.
And I should say that Ellen is an expert at public transportation in France.
Yep.
So we're gonna be on the metro, and it'll be fun. I mean, that's part of the experience of being
But when possible, we're going to take buses, because it is so nice to be able to see how the city
Yes.
fits together, rather than going down in a hole in one neighborhood and coming up out of a hole in another neighborhood. You actually see, how,
Yes.
Saint-Germain connects to Montparnasse, or, the Marais. Oh, and we're going to take the day that we go to the flea market, we're going to take the tram. We're going to take the tram to go to the Marais after the flea market, because that's the best neighborhood to go to on Sundays, because everything is open.
So yes, she's thought of all of that. So we will be on public transportation. And so, and as some of your books were really based about public transportation for exactly that reason, right? That you can kind of just get a whole scope of the city. So, that's going to be part of our adventure.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're not doing limos, okay? Just don't expect that.
And one other thing just to mention, I am not fluent in French. I can make myself understood, and I understand almost everything that's said to me, but I am not fluent. So don't anybody expect fluency, because that's not happening.
I just think your definition of fluent is
No. Trust me, my boyfriend is fluent in French. I am not. That is a difference.
Okay.
We went to a cocktail party a couple of weeks ago, and I kept turning to him for words that I had lost, although I have a better vocabulary than he does, but he is fluent.
Good. Well, I'm
Well-
sure as many times as you go, you're way ahead of most of us, right? I mean, some of you may be fluent. Is anybody
But
fluent?
again, I can make myself understood, so.
That's
Yeah.
what we need. Better than me. I'll be just doing the charades. I'll be speaking Spanish and I'll be wrong in my Spanish, right? Right, Lucy Frost? Where's Lucy? Oh, she's anyway. Okay, well, everybody, it's very exciting, and look for an email from me sometime over the weekend or whatever, and I will we'll just go from there, and just send any questions to me, and Ellen's email is on that whole group list if you want to bug her specifically and spare me. No.
And once we're there too, I mean, I have a lot more energy when I'm in France than I do when I'm in New York. So when we're there, if you've read about some store that's halfway across the city, I will take you. We will figure out a way to make it work, so.
I love that. That makes me so happy. Okay, girls. If there's not anything else.
Good. Thank you, Jean.
Else,
Thank you, ladies.
Can't
Thanks
wait
for-
to meet you all in person.
I know. I'm so excited, all of you. So just be looking for emails and we'll all be in touch, okay?
Sounds good.
Great.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.